All right, what? I talk where? Over here? I have to talk over there? Okay. Well, I don't know. No, I don't. But fine, I will. That's there. I'm here. That's there. It looks like we're about ready to go. All right. Well, welcome everyone to the world of wine with Flynn Markley. I'm your host, Flynn Markley, here subbing in for the WineShark today by special request here on this tube, as they say. So I'm here and been wondering about, people ask me questions all the time about wine. I hope you all will do the same. I am told here that you may ask questions of me via something called the chat, or not to be confused with the French word for feline. So, questions, all the time questions for Flynn. I guess specifically the most common one is, why wine, Flynn? Well, let's do a once upon a story time with Flynn. Well, once upon a story time, a man with a chip on his shoulder by the name of Martin Luther said that beer is made by men, but wine is made by God. And well, I find a particularly ringing endorsement of the beverage, considering he had a pretty close relationship with the Almighty himself. But I love wine. I love wine from all around the world. As a sailor, I go hither and yon, and more importantly, I bring back the best stuff to where I am. The Greeks and Romans even had gods devoted to wine. So I figure with as many gods that are on my side, this must be the right path to have. Now, we're going to do some fun things today. Particularly, we're going to answer the best of your questions to the best of my ability. But more importantly, we're going to do a running segment called "I like my wine like I like my women." Specifically, I like my wine like I like my women, rich and full-bodied. But we're also going to do a thing called "What Fell Off a Boat Today." Down here at the docks, we kind of find things from time to time, as they say, wink, wink, and things get mislocated. You never know what might turn up. But then again, you don't really have much provenance for bottles that tend to, fall off of a wagon cart, as they say, or get shipped in with who knows whom from who knows where. So my goal is always to assess how good is the wine that I'm actually getting. Found this to be a particular challenge for a lot of us, so there you are. That being said, could be swill, could be swell. You've got to find out yourself. So today's bit of luck, this little bottle here, came from a Welsh traveller by the name of Griffith. He swore on the hairs of his own red gin that this was a noble wine, that it was stolen from a noble acquired from a noble vineyard. Now, that being said, I think he said that because it says the word noble vines on the label. He's a bit literal, so then there's that. Well, anyway, with that being said, he offered me up 17 shillings for the bit. I managed to convince him down to 11 by promising him an introduction to a particular lad that sells horses for an excellent price. So, we're going to play another little game called Should You Ever Trust a Welshman? Because if this Welshman has anything to do with it, I'm not looking forward to what he might have slipped me. But we're going to find out a few questions. Number 1, if it is what he says it is. Number 2, would I drink it again? And number 3, are we going to have a Welshman arrested for petty larceny? So it's all kind of riding on the wine, I think, at this point in time. So, all right. Well, this is as it says Noble Vines Collection, the 667 Pinot Noir. Now, 667 is awful close to the number of the beast, which intrigued me from the beginning. But I certainly know a little bit more about this than I think that the Welshman actually did. So we're going to go ahead and see whether this is what he says it is. We're going to find out when I drink it again, and then we're going to decide whether we're going to have him arrested or not. So, first things first, let's pour ourselves a glass, shall we? You should definitely be trying this right now. It's certainly past the time of day when, well, all of us should be drinking. So, all right, this says on here it is a Pinot Noir. Now, Pinot Noir is one of them French grapes, one of my personal favourites. The Burgundians are very fond of it, although this one, not from Burgundy, says it's noble, but it's not from Burgundy. Not quite sure what to make of that. But Pinot Noir is indeed one of the old, quote-unquote, noble grapes, so it must be oddly set up for itself for success by that measure. Now, Noble Vines, 667 Pinot Noir. Says here on the label, behind those red numbers is a noble legacy. I ain't never heard of no King 667, but let's hear him out. Prized by kings and queens for centuries, certain noble vine stocks have proven their excellence over time. Well, that indeed is true. In fact, the wines of kings and queens have a long heritage by and large. So, Noble Vines takes the best of these vine stocks identified today by number. Aha! 667 by number. Then cultivates them in California. Pinot Noir 667 vine stock originates in the pedigreed vineyards of France's Burgundy region. See, I told you. The ancestral home of Pinot Noir. Well, see, maybe he does get what he says it is. It is what he says it is. With its velvety texture and rich, vibrant cherry and plum flavors, well, that sounds tasty, Noble Vine 667 displays the traits that earned the 667 stock its noble reputation. Noble reputation, indeed. Serve with tuna or salmon, mushroom risotto, or roast chicken. Well, awful kind of them to provide lots of deep information here. Flavors of cherry and plum, eh? Well, alright, we know what it says now. Let's find out if it is what it says it is. Because if it's not, we're going to have one very screwed up Welshman in our hands. Well, it certainly smells like cherries. I'd even go so far as to say it smells like plums. Kind of like those, the plums right when they're turning from the red to the purple. That nice fresh fruit flavor. Definitely coming out of the glass. Oh yeah. That definitely does the red and plum fruit flavors very well. Very cherry, very red. Not a lot of anything else in there though. Maybe a hint of soil way in the back, just a little. So those Burgundian Pinot Noirs are supposed to smell like all kinds of stuff on the forest floor, on the barnyard floor. There's a tiny hint of that here, but I don't know if this California is supposed to do that. Monterey, not really known for that. So, let's find out. Wow, got quite a snootful there. Let's go ahead and take a sip. Take a gander. Oh my. Noble Vines, indeed. It does, it definitely fulfills the rest of its dark cherry promise. It's round all the way around the mouth, not particularly aggressive, almost silky, I might say. Kind of like I said, I like my wine like I like my women. In this case, pink and a little bit tart. But yeah, not a bit of knock of acidity around here. It's got a very deep garnety color. Excellent amount of extraction of color into the juice, I must say. Certainly can't fault it for that. Take another hit. Oh, yeah. It's bright. It's cherry. There's not a lot to it. It certainly isn't what I would consider full-bodied, but it is very forward in your mouth. The entire front and sides of your mouth are engaged, but you're not getting a lot as far as the middle of your tongue. Nothing going on here. Not particularly complicated. But, I must say, for me it's 11 shilling. I really can't complain about that. I don't think that I overpaid for that at all. Would I drink it again? Well, I certainly think I would. Their suggestions on there says tuna or salmon. Well, that's good, but that's only a protein. We do need a preparation to go along with it. So a grilled piece of salmon, for instance, or a grilled piece of tuna would be excellent with this. Something to add a little bit of smokiness to the otherwise hollow-bodied wine. The mushroom risotto, I think, would actually pair elegantly in the fact that mushroom risotto is very creamy and very mouth-filling. So that would be an excellent pair, certainly. And a roast chicken. The simplest but most, probably common and elegant thing to do. A simple roast chicken with a little bit of fresh herbs is actually quite a beautiful piece of thing upon one's table. I'm not sure how this particularly would enhance that. But overall, I don't think they even chose very poorly as far as their suggestions of what to eat at your table. So, to say the least, the 667 clone. So let's talk a bit about clones, shall we? Would I drink it again? Yes. Am I going to have a Welshman arrested for larceny? No. Looks like he actually got me what he said he was this time. That's the first time in a long time he's actually been honest with me. So, clones. 667, as it says, refers to the vine stock. They use these numbers to determine which one of many varieties of a particular grape you might have. Clones are not the same thing, nor nearly as exciting as Venetian contortionist twins. But we will talk about how grapes have sex to understand how clones work. It's very different than the Venetian twins, let me tell you. Not much fun as you'd think grape sex, believe it or not. First, grapes can have a regular reproduction that takes the qualities from two separate plants. For their purposes, a mother plant and a father plant. So a mother plant and a father plant have a child plant that gets a little bit of traits from each of them, just like people. This is oftentimes critical to making new types of grapes available in the world. For instance, in the new style of wine, Cabernet Sauvignon. Cabernet Sauvignon is the child of Cabernet Franc and Sauvignon Blanc. The two of them crossbred together gives us Cabernet Sauvignon. They take the first parts of the name, they stick them together. Okay, hence its name. But if you don't want that sort of progress, if you are trying to grow the same thing over again, perhaps you're expanding your vineyard, perhaps you're selling your grapes to someone else. As it says with the noble vines, they take these cuttings from elsewhere, Burgundy, and then grow them in California. Right? Changes the grapes a little because of the different terrain and such, but what you're at its heart getting is a quality plant that is known to produce good fruit. So clones are all about the idea of producing the same fruit over and over again. So secondly, if you want to protect that heritage of the grape, kind of like the way that noble folk won't just let anyone else marry their daughters. Ask me how I know. The idea of clones is take that vine and reproduce it, protect its heritage line. All right? I like my wine like I like my women, dark and complicated, which is basically kind of like this whole topic. But clones, you still have a high degree of hope that goes into clones. So you're hoping you get the same fruit in the different place that you did in the original. Of course, your fruit can have many variations that are beyond simply a matter of taking the cutting and making a new cutting grow in another place by grafting or other such methods. So you can still get mutations and small differences. But when it does work, it works pretty well. So, like I said, it's no guarantee. Just like trying to increase the discourse of knowledge at your table by inviting some French viscount to dinner, there's no guarantee that it's going to get any smoother. And by the way, this is one of those things about pure breeding that comes with its own natural problems, is that it leads to a repetition that isn't guaranteed and then can therefore cause genetic problems. So, also, just like with people pedigree, grape pedigree can get really snooty with a lot of folks. They get very particular about how a grape is grown and where it comes from. They're very proud of this fact, and they will lord it over you that this clone or that clone was used to make a particular vintage. That's not necessarily a great thing. It can be, as we said, where if it has a good degree of hope of, good parentage, so to speak, but it's not always an instant solution. It doesn't make the wine magically better. By the way, a lot of decisions go into making wine that are outside the actual growing of the grape. But of course, if you start with a good quality product, you're likely to end with a good quality product. So that's a good thing to have. But when it comes to other problems, by the by, something that happens, traditions that we human in our foolish intervention, folks make mistakes in our greedy little effort to get wine vines, or particularly wine grapes, from one place to another. We often have encountered vicious problems with doing this practice. Why? Because oftentimes what we do is we take cuttings or clippings of the vines and transport them physically from one place to another place. Well, when other place doesn't have the same biome as the first place, parasites can come along with it that can be devastating to crops. Just like people, you got to know who you're messing around with. Although what goes on in Leeds stays in Leeds, at least that's what I was told. So when we talk about clippings and parasites, the phylloxera plague that affected the French was a result of them taking clippings from the Americas back to France. See, it caused a problem way back when that nearly killed the French wine world. Same thing has happened in the modern world, where you've got modern grape growers trying to get a hold of French grapes and bringing them over because they're fancy, and bringing along with them certain parasites that are no longer able to be coped with by the grapes themselves. So cuttings, clippings, and cloning can exacerbate problems like that from a viticultural perspective. So anyway, yes, so like I said, this is probably one of my favorite topics when it comes to how and why we complicate the wine world. Certainly not very sexy and jazzy, but it does at least explain a lot of the heritage that comes along with things. Now, it looks like over in the chat we have hellos from a Mary Thomas 77 and a Donna Den saying hello, it's nice to see me. Well, it's nice to be seen. It's nice to, in fact, I would say that it is nice to see me. I should put that somewhere on a sign, I think. Welcome, it's nice to see me. So, all right, that's about all I have to say about clones. That's all I've got to say about this wine. Any questions from those out there, from the Marys and the Donnas, etc. in the world? Or am I just going to sit here and drink for you, which wouldn't be the first time? Let's also talk about coming soon, things that are up and coming. I was told earlier that I must make known the events that are on the nearby horizon. Specifically, at the Scarborough Renaissance Festival, where yours truly hosts the World of Wine show, this week, the Day of Many Mothers, we will be serving wines of the New World. And wines of the New World is going to include Argentina, Uruguay, California, Washington, Oregon, and I believe Chile. I'll have to go look at the list. And then we've got the weekend after, we will be traveling for the wines of France, a most excellent place to visit in the world of wine. We're going to feature wines from the Rhone. We're going to get into some of my favorite wines that happen to be pink. We're going to, in fact, have things that are pink and bubbling, just because I say so. So it's going to be all kinds of fun, and you should join us out there. Remember, if you can't get tickets online, we always have tickets the day of the show. So come visit me down at the Cat and Fiddle early and secure your seats. Then we've also got Wine Styles Merlots. The WineShark will be doing wine online at featuring the styles of Merlot between 25 and 35 quid. Would be an interesting show. Donna says she's coming to see me at Scarborough on the 30th. Ah, well, not too many days away. I mean, the month just began, but we shall bait our breath patiently until you come arrive and visit us. So let's see, that weekend will be Flynn's favorites weekend, and you don't get any clues as to what's in that, because I am a mysterious sort. So, all right, what else? We've got Merlot coming up, wines of the New World, wines of France. All right, what else? Oh, there's New World wines also down at the Reunion Tower, although I think that we're running very short on tickets. So, in your comments section down in there. I'm told to say, how do you like your wine and women, or men, or other preference for you? I like my wine like I like my women, a mouthful of it at a time, and often to excess. So, with that being said, if you like what we're doing, like, comment, and subscribe. It says right here. Also, to share the channel with a wine-loving friend. For those folks that have never seen me at Scarborough before, they're going to be wondering just exactly what the hell this is all about. Whereas the rest of the audience, I suppose, at least, is going to be wondering when the regular WineShark will come back. But, oh, goodness. Swallowed a little bit down the wrong pipe there. But if you really like what we're doing, also follow us over on Patreon, etc. There's exclusive content there. Oh, we have a new guest, Angela Carter. Will I still do the special show on the 31st? I don't know what that means, the special show. There is no special show. In the last week of the festival, we have Flynn's favorite weekend. All of the shows are special, so there you go. We are very busy on that Memorial Day Monday, however. But there is nothing special about the Memorial Day Monday show that you don't get on the Sunday show and the Saturday show. We stopped doing that a while back because everybody piles on Monday like it's some sort of crazy bacchanal. More importantly, people get rude and impatient, and it displeases the Flynn greatly. So, instead, I decided to bring more things out, so you can get the same fancy things you can get all the way through the show. So, fact is, you guys are spoiled. I mean, I did it myself. It's yours truly's fault, so who do I have to blame? You're going to get the food. You're not going to do, as I said, if you've not been in the recent past from your food question, the answer is, yes, there are extra special food things that come along. So there you are. It has nothing to do with Monday. If you make Monday, fantastic. We'll also be doing special stuff on Sunday and Saturday as well. Do not expect anything crazy big on Monday. It's become too much of a hassle. Yeah, it's unfortunately, and well, to you too. She waved a thumb at me. It was odd. But yes, the point is, the entire weekend of Flynn's Favorites is an excellent time to come. Don't feel you have to come on Monday just to get something special. Right, that's not going to happen. Oh, I take that back. That sounds wrong. Something special is happening the whole weekend long. I'm going to do more special things that weekend. It's true. I just won't be doing special things only on Monday. I think that sums it up. There it is. So, for those of you that haven't visited, it's the final weekend of the festival. And because it's one of those things where I like to celebrate the beginning of summer and the beginning of our vacation time, well, I like to do something special for that last weekend. I'll bring along some extra special tasty bites of small things to help showcase some of the wines. So, very tasty. Little bites, some cheeses. We bring out some charcuteries, things like that. You can also do those same things if you get a private picnic with me. Totally the same thing, private experience. You don't have to share me with 40 other people, however. Although those are limited in quantity. So, all right, well, I appreciate everyone's questions. I certainly hope that there will see you, more of you, coming out, obviously, between now and the 30th. Apparently, Donna and Angela are waiting for the rest of the month to come see me. But for the rest of you, I hope to see you this weekend. If not, I hope you celebrate and honor your mothers well. It is their special day. Do something special for them. All right? I know that I'll be doing the best to do something for my mother. I have no idea what that is at this time, because sometimes I'm not the best son, and I have to think of things at the last minute. So there you go. All right. Well then, ladies and gentlemen, from the world of wines, I bring you another close from your friend, Flynn Markley. Just remember, if you free your mind, your glass will follow. Next week, Flynn will return. Topic yet to be determined, but remember, you too can influence topics that come up on the show. Asking questions on the comments, etc. is likely to help get something answered via your own video. So, something like that. If you have a question, don't hesitate to ask. We'll see you soon. Cheers. I don't know that this bottle is going to survive the evening. And by that, I mean I'm going to drink it all.